Hello, everyone, and welcome to Consciousness is Sexy. My name is Patty Alfonso, and as you probably saw in the introduction video on the registration page, this is a... Hello, everyone, and welcome
I need to mute myself.
This is a weekly show where I will be sharing with you the tools of Access Consciousness, tips, tools, information, anything that is required for you to find, create, and be the miracle that you truly be, so that you can create the living and the life that you truly desire. It's been a super interesting week, and I was playing with the energy of today's show. Actually, I'll start here. I'm an Access Consciousness certified facilitator, and I absolutely love the tools of Access Consciousness. I've been doing energy work and all kinds of modalities for a really long time. And it's playing with these tools that have actually given me the opportunity. They have actually facilitated me in changing so many things in my life, in changing so many things that I thought that I could not change. So that is why I created this show, my desire to share the tools with everyone all over the world and hopefully inspire you to create the life that you want to live. So I was playing with the energy of the show, and I was asking questions, which we'll go into a little bit later, but asking questions is one of the awesomest tools in Access Consciousness that you can choose to play with. So I was asking questions of the show. Okay, this show that wanted to be created, that was knocking at my door, hey, let's do this. And so I was tuning into the energy of the show. And I was asking him, well, what do you want to be? And what do you want to create in the world? And what can I be to contribute to that creation? And then I started asking, well, what do you want to be called? And then it just came out of nowhere. Oh, consciousness is sexy. And I was like, okay, cool. And so I created the show, and then I was messaging with Gary Douglas, the founder of Access Consciousness. And I was like, oh my gosh, I've got this idea to create the show, and I want to share the tools. And, what do you think for a title? And he gave me Finding the Miracles in Your Life. And I was like, oh, okay. And I kept asking questions. I was like, okay, finding the miracles in your life. Okay, what is that? What does that look like, right? What is that? And I tuned into the energy, and the finding part had an energy of doing, and I was like, okay, well, that's cool. I like that. And what else is possible? What else is out there? And so I kept playing with the class, and then it ended up being, being the miracle in your life. There's an amazing conversation happening right now in Access Consciousness about the age of miracles and this new age that we've stepped into, or that's being created, that we're all creating, where we get to be the miracle. Instead of looking for that miracle outside of ourselves, right? We get to be that miracle that changes everything. We get to be that miracle that when we ask questions like, what is that? What else is possible? How does it get better than this? Then we start to change the energy of situations. And so, so finding became being. And I was like, okay, well, what else? What else is there that we can play with? So then the energy of creating also came in. So finding, creating, and being the miracle that you truly be. And then, so then I went back to the other title. Okay, consciousness is sexy. So what is that? And what's that energy? And what is that? Right? Being sexy, I think, is something that is judgeable in this reality. And one of the things in Access Consciousness is that consciousness includes everything and judges nothing. So I was like, okay, so if being sexy wasn't a judgeable offense, then what is that energy? What is that? So I kept asking, and I was you know, falling asleep the other day, kind of half asleep, half awake. And sometimes I get a lot of awarenesses in that space where my mind isn't like, "Nyeh," you know. And I got the awareness of when you choose consciousness, right? When you choose more of you, when you choose to be more of you, there is an energy that shows up, an energy that you be that is really sexy, at least in my point of view. I know when I first came to Access Consciousness, I was totally hiding, like no makeup. I was such a hippie. I was like covered clothes, turtlenecks, you know, don't look at me, barely combing my hair, you know. And the more I started stepping into me and choosing all of me, the more sort of beautiful I got. And I don't say that from a place of, oh, I'm beautiful. I mean, people reflected that back to me. And when I look around at all of the amazing people that are a part of Access Consciousness, and I go to a class and we go into the first day of class and we're all like, oh, class, you know, all that energy that comes up when you're about to blast away all the limitations that are holding you back. There is a definite difference from the time we come into class to the time that we leave. And when we leave, and there's this delicious energy of everyone having let go of everything that was holding them back and everything that was locking them up. There is an energy of beauty and consciousness that is sexy. Everybody just looks more sexy. And I don't know if I'm using the best words to describe this because it's not about how you look. And so then I started perceiving that energy and I was like, okay, so what is that? And then it came to me, I've been watching this show recently called, and I was asking questions about this morning as I was getting my bars run. And my friend Rihanna and I were chatting, and I was like, wow, what is this? What is this energy that I'm perceiving? And so I started this show that I've been watching came to my awareness, Drop Dead Diva. And if you haven't seen this show, it's about a woman. Her name is Deb, and she's skinny and petite, and she's a model, and she's, you know, this reality's version of really pretty. And she gets in a car accident and she dies, and she goes up to heaven and she has a talk with her, you know, guardian angel or whatever, and she hits the return button. So she comes back to Earth, but she comes back to someone else's body. And someone else's body who, in this reality, we wouldn't necessarily consider beautiful or sexy. So everything that is, can we destroy and uncreate it? Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds segue. If you don't know what that phrase is, it's the Access Consciousness Clearing Statement. And if you have any questions about that, you can go to theclearingstatement.com to get more information. And basically, when you ask a question or when you say something and a particular energy comes up, you can use the clearing statement like literally a magic wand, and you can just wipe away all of the stuff that's creating that interesting, strange energy in people's universe. So where was I with so she comes back to this earth and she goes into a different body, and this body isn't, you know, what we would normally think as, you know, being sexy or whatever, or pretty, or, you know, whatnot. But I've been watching this show for a little while on and off, and I was noticing the way Jane is the character of the girl's body that she went into, and she's, you know, she's a heavy set girl, but I was watching the way that she was moving and the way that she was being with her body. And I find her to be incredibly beautiful and incredibly sexy. And the way that she flirts and she tosses her hair, and the way that she moves, like she does these amazing dance numbers during the show. and she dresses in a particular way, and she just has transformed, and they do flashbacks of like the old Jane, and she's not very happy, and she's kind of miserable, and dresses kind of frumpy, and is this really serious kind of lawyer, right? So my friend Rihanna and I, long story, kind of short, but not really, we were looking at this, and I was like, so what is sexy? Is it like a body thing? Is it, I'm getting messages on Skype, questions. Anyway, is it a body thing? Is it a particular body that we decide is sexy? And I was like, I've seen people with beautiful bodies that don't have that energy, that spark, right? That I'm in these 10 seconds calling sexy. Is it a being thing? No. I've seen like really, again, amazing, beautiful people that once you get to know them, their being is kind of like, and they don't look as attractive to me anymore as they did before. So this place of when you choose more for you and you choose more consciousness, this energy that comes up that just is sexy. And I was looking at that, and I was looking at the show that I've been watching. And so there was the old Jane who really wasn't very happy with her life and what she had chosen. She was just, being a lawyer and doing that, and like being really, whatever that energy was, that wasn't really being reflected in her body. So it was reflected in her body in this just very not happy kind of way. She wasn't sexy, okay? So then when Deb, this new being, came into Jane's body, and so now Deb, the being, had this energy, this effervescence of life, this desire to live. Like she had died and she made the choice to come back and start over, create something else, create a better life. She wanted more. She wasn't ready to die. So then this desire for more, this desire for consciousness with this beautiful body, which we wouldn't normally judge as being sexy, when they put those together, the creation is this beautiful, effervescent, sexy, flirtatious, big, heavy-set woman she just like lights up the screen when I watch her. Like, at least that's my point of view. So then, the question arose, what have we defined as sexy that cuts us off from being everything that we desire to be, from creating everything that we desire to be? And everything that brings up, can we destroy and uncreate it? And I'm just going to assume that you said yes. Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. And all of the like decisions and the judgments and the conclusions and the computations that we've impelled to our bodies about this energy, which clearly has nothing to do with your size or your looks or anything like that, right? So all of those decisions and judgments and conclusions and computations about what it is to be sexy and beautiful and to choose consciousness, can we destroy and uncreate that? Thank you. Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. When I started posting the show and announcing it and creating the graphics and creating it with my team, I was so aware of this energy of like, people's points of views of, oh, consciousness is sexy. Who does she think she is? Or, what makes her, and I'm like, I don't know what makes me. The online show chose me to create it. So I don't know, we'll find out. It's going to be a really cool adventure in seeing what that is for you, what that is for you would like, what that is for you, what you would like to create in your life, what that is for your body, what that is for you, the being, as you continue to let go of the things that are holding you back, as you start to choose more of you and to just be the energy of the exuberance of life and living and the joy of being here. I wonder what that will create. How does it get better than that? Let's see what comments or questions have come up. I haven't been able to figure out the technical side of having people live that want to ask questions, but I will figure that out, because I do want you to be able to come on live and ask questions and receive facilitation if that is what you desire. And I also have the target. I'm so lucky. This group of Access Consciousness, how did I get so lucky? I know people all over the world, right? I have this it's amazing. And I have access to some of the most amazing, brilliant facilitators in so many different areas, whether it's your body, relationships, your business, magic, you name it. We love to play with it and talk about it and change it. And so I am planning at some point, when the energy is there, to have guests on my show so that they can share their magic and their miracles with you, and then we can all kind of play and have a little bit of fun. So let's see. If you hadn't noticed, below the screen there is a section if you want to ask me questions, for those of you that are live. For those of you in the future, hopefully your question will get asked. So Lisa Ann, thank you for anticipating the start of the event. I appreciate that. Let me see, actually, because I'm not getting the names of the people. Oh, now I need to refresh my screen. How does it get better? And we are going to look into, in a little bit, I want to play with the energies that we've been playing with in Access, the energies of magic and miracles and chaos and order. I'm so excited for this conversation. Okay, it's not loading because my Wi-Fi seems to be slow. No, here it is. Let's see. Dear Patty, thank you for creating this space. I would like to know how to clear my path to health and freedom without family charge. Awesome. Thank you, Irene, for your awesome question. Yeah. Wow. There's a lot there to play with and to look at. So one of the coolest tools that we have in Access is the question, who does this belong to? And I know when I first started playing with the tools of Access and with sort of clearing away all of the things that weren't mine and getting clear on who I be in the world and what it is that I would like to create, this was one of the awesomest tools to play with, because I had to look at everything that came up in my universe, every point of view that I had about something. Like if it was about money, like my dad had this point of view that money doesn't grow on trees and, you know, you have to work really hard for money. And that point of view would come up in my universe. And I was like, wow, who does that belong to? Is that mine? What is my point of view? Like, what do I know about money and magic that will contribute to the creation of the life and living that I know is possible? A little bit of energy on that. So everything that is, can we destroy it, uncreate it? Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. And families, we come into our families and we step into these roles of who it is that they desire us to be and what it is that they want us to create in the world. And, you know, you step into the role of the daughter or sister, or, you know, if you're the wife or you have, you know, you're the mom, whatever those roles are that start to define us, right? And in those definitions, I mean, look at my hands, they're like kind of getting smaller. In those definitions, we start limiting the things that we can choose and the things that we create based on those definitions. So another really cool question is, if I were truly being me, what would I create? If I were truly being me, what would I choose? And anything that doesn't allow that to show up, can you destroy and uncreate it? Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. And I would really start with, again, looking at like, who does this belong to? Get really clear on you and the life that you would like to create. What does that life look like? And any time, like you mentioned a charge that came up. So anytime a charge comes up around family, just say everything that is, I destroy and uncreate it. Right and wrong, good and bad, pock and pod, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyond. And again, if you're not clear on what that is, go ahead and go to theclearingstatement.com and get a little bit more information. It's just a magic wand. We're just going to wipe away all that energy, that charge that she was talking about. Is what that magic wand clears. Jazz says, hi there, Patty. What a wonderful discussion here. I love your ideas. Yay, thank you so much. All right, I think that's it for questions now. So magic and miracles and chaos and order. And I get that this will also contribute to your question about family and all of that. Oh my, all of these energies that are coming up that we're talking about in Access Consciousness. And this thing about chaos and order is really changing a lot of stuff in Access. And it's really been changing a lot of stuff in my universe as well, which is why I kind of wanted to play with these energies. So chaos. So all the judgments that you have about what chaos is, can you destroy and uncreate those? Right and wrong, good and bad, pock and pot, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds. I know that I was totally chaos walking when I was little, like no doubt. Maybe some of you can relate to that or not. And chaos like this, whoosh, 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 right? So I was like creating all this, chaotic energy. Like the energy of consciousness is chaos. The energy of creation is chaos, right? If any of you are creative types at all, and you get a lot of different ideas and a lot of stuff happening all the time, so there's just all this, that's what sort of chaos is to me. And in that energy of chaos is where magic and miracles can be created, can be, explored and played with. And so I was chaos walking when I was little. But this reality, this reality, this earth that we live in right now is a reality really based on order. So where chaos is, whoosh, 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 what can we change now? What can we create now? What else is possible? Okay, that's the way you've done things. Well, what else? Now what? Now what? Right? So that's the energy for me of chaos. And then order is this is how we've always done it. This is the way it is. You have to follow the rules. And so here I was, this like totally wackadoodle kid, right? Born into this reality of order. And it was interesting because I was in Dubai earlier this year, and I was doing a speech at a conference, and I started off my speech talking about how when I was little, at one point, in order to fit in and in order to please everyone around me, I fit myself into this very tiny little box, which now that I perceive the energy of it with this new conversation, I was like, oh, I was creating order for myself. I was trying to organize myself based on this reality and based on what people wanted me to be and how people wanted me to behave and how people wanted me to, sit down and be quiet. And so I had to like take all of this whoosh, whoosh kind of energy and smush it into this tiny, tiny little box where I lived for a very long time. And I would like pop out of it every once in a while and, be chaos. And then, I'd get in trouble or someone would get mad at me or, whatever. I'd like, I don't know, create chaos. And then I would fit into this time to myself. And even as I say it, my body just kind of contracts. Can you imagine how much energy it takes to fit all of this into this, right? So how much of myself was I cutting off to try to fit in to this reality and what everyone wanted me to be and everyone's idea of what the right thing to do was or the wrong thing to do. And as we've been looking at this conversation of chaos, and I've been, talking to other facilitators and just, with clients and all that, it's really interesting, like the sort of confusion, the misidentification of what chaos really is, right? So for example, let's take money. So the energy of creation, the energy of chaos, if we applied it to money rather than trying to like save or, this money is for this and this money is for that and there's only this much and like all of this contraction around that energy. So there was this idea that if we were chaotic with our money, that we were, being irresponsible, overspending. Like that's not, and I've always been quite chaotic with money. For me, money, like, it's always available, like my point of view, right? Beyond what my dad was, it can come from bazillions of sources. It's easy to create, it's easy to have, it's easy to save, it's easy to, create something else with it. It's just, I don't really have those insane points of view about money. So I've always really been really chaotic about money. And some people in my life may have thought that I was irresponsible or that I wasn't, whatever, you get it. So there's all these judgments that come up with the energy of chaos. Like it's a tornado. And in a sense, it can be a bit of a tornado, but that energy of chaos can come and clear so many things, right? So it just can wipe the slate clean and then new things can come up. If we perceive the energy of nature, there's a certain element of chaos in nature, whether it's a hurricane or the ocean, like it cannot be contained, right? And in that energy, when you allow yourself to be it, of expansion and creation, what if you couldn't be contained? What would you create then? I saw this Facebook graphic square about, like when you leave a toddler alone for an hour, the, chaos that they create. And I was like, yeah, wow. What if we all allowed ourselves to be that energy of chaos, that energy of creation, that energy of consciousness, rather than trying to fit ourselves into this like tiny little box? Like how much can you create from here? Rather than from here. And another cool thing about this energy of chaos that I've been playing with is the energy of chaos with my body. And I just did a pole dancing for consciousness class recently. If you didn't know, I created a class called Pole Dancing for Consciousness, and we play with bodies and sensuality and just opening up your body. And I asked the question during the class, like, what if we could just be chaos with our bodies? What would that look like? And this is a conversation that is, happening in Access as well. And when I allowed my body to be chaos, those places in my body that maybe I had like a crank or a muscle or they weren't really flowing the way that I know they could be, I was like, okay, body, so what if we, put a little bit of chaos into this area? What would that look like? And I had a couple of Access Consciousness body processes done as well. And what showed up with my body was a level of relaxation that was beyond anything I had ever experienced before with my body. So much so that like I took a lot of naps to kind of like reset, not reset, that's not the right word, to be really present with that space without trying to go back into here. And again, the relaxation that occurred in my body, there was so much more space. So when you perceive the energy of chaos in everything that I am talking about, there is a lot of space. And then there's trying to fit everything into this is the way it is and all of that. So, my friends, I would love to invite you to be the chaos that you truly be. So, what energy, space, and consciousness can you and your bodies be to be the chaos that you truly be? And anything that doesn't allow that, will you destroy and uncreate it? Right and wrong, good and bad, pock and pot, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyond. And in those situations where there's a charge, as Leia was talking about, or maybe things aren't flowing the way that you would like them to flow, what if you're just like, oh, what chaos can I add here that will create more? And anything that doesn't allow that, let's destroy and uncreate it. Right and wrong, good and bad, pock and pot, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Magic and miracles are created in that energy of chaos. If you perceive the times where you have been magic in your life, if you perceive those times where you've created a miracle, was it when you were following the rules and being this is the way to do it? Or was it when you were like free and like, yay, life is amazing? I wrote down something that I wanted to play with in these 10 seconds. Let's see if there's any questions so far. Irene says, thank you. You're welcome, darling. Monia says, so thank you so much for this conversation around money and chaos. So what I require to hear right now. Awesome. So that's the thing about like being in the energy of chaos and creation. I didn't plan what we were going to look at today. I didn't plan what I was going to say. I was like, okay, I'm just going to be really present with the people that are coming, the people that'll be watching now, the people that'll be watching in the future. And I really, with a really different sense, allowed myself to be in the space of chaos of creation, with whatever energies show up. I had an idea where I wanted to start, and then I was like, I wonder where else we'll go. I wonder what else we'll create. And then, I've got this idea for this exercise, which I'm going to look up. So I would like to invite you to close your eyes and lower your barriers and expand your energy out and invite your body to expand out. And take a few deep breaths. And I want you to just ask for the energy of all of the miracles that you have ever been and all of the miracles that you have ever created from any lifetime, space, or dimension. And I want you to just perceive that energy. You don't have to think about it. There's nothing to do. Just lower your barriers. Push them down if you need to. Expand your energy out and just ask the energy to show you. Ask the energy to give you clues like, what is that? Perceive the energy of all of the miracles that you have ever created throughout any lifetime, space, or dimension. There. Awesome. And expand out. And now pull them. Pull them towards you now. And all of the miracles that you will create in the future, perceiving that energy and allowing that energy to be really present with you right now. And anything that doesn't allow that, will you destroy and uncreate it? Expand out, push down your barriers. There you go. Awesome. So when I was looking or perceiving, asking questions about miracles and being the miracle and finding the miracle that you truly be, right? Oh, it just went away. I'm so much space. Oh, there you go. Thank you. So I had the awareness, right, of those places where I've created magic and been magic. And it could be something as simple as like, gosh, you know, where's that parking spot? Like, what would it take to have a parking spot right now? And that parking spot shows up. You're like, oh my gosh, I'm short like a quarter for my laundry. And then you find a quarter under the desk. Or maybe it's, gosh, what would it take to generate and create, $10,000 as if by magic? And then bam, you have a bunch of business show up and you create the $10,000. Or maybe it's, you're there with a friend who's going through a tough time and you ask them a question and you be a space that changes it. All of that is you being the magic, you creating the miracles in your life. And so what I noticed was that I was perceiving the energy of all these miracles, but they were kind of like over there. Like, oh yeah, I did that back then. Or yeah, I created that over there. And they were here but not here. Then I was playing with like, what if I had that energy available to me all of the time? What if I could be that energy? What if I could, like, what would that look like? What would that be like? And so then that exercise came up of just like perceiving throughout all lifetime, space, and dimensions, all of those times where I be the miracle. And inviting that energy into my life right now, being present with that energy, and then creating with that. How does it get better than that? So everywhere you have thrown away the miracles that you've created because you did it then, everything that is, will you destroy and uncreate it? Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Just checking again to see the questions. Nothing new quite just yet. So being the miracle, I was on a telecall with Gary Douglas and Dane here. They are the founders and creators of Access Consciousness. And Gary was talking about, what is that? What is being the miracle? And he said, being that which can always choose and can always change. So one of the cool tools that I adore in Access Consciousness is living in 10-second increments. And it's one of the 10 keys to total freedom. And so it's that place of, you have 10 seconds to live the rest of your life. What are you going to choose? Okay, those 10 seconds are over. What are you going to choose now? Okay, those 10 seconds are over. Now what? Now what would you like to choose? And the thing about this reality is that, again, with the order part of it, where everything, like once you choose something or you decide something, that's it. That you have to stick with that or stick to that forever and ever, or for all eternity. And how much are we judged if we're one of those people who does choose to change their minds all the time, or to change as a person all the time? So again, being the miracle, I just want to read it because I want to get the exact words, is being that which can always choose and can always change. What if everything in your life was changeable? What if you could choose and create and be in every 10 seconds? And what if you didn't judge that? And everything that brings up, can we destroy it and create it? Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. In the energy of chaos and creation, you have to be willing to change. Like, and I don't mean it in like, I know you have to. It's like, And the willingness, again, you have to be willing to change, to follow the energy. This, how much, are you going to be able to put that, right? Again, in like a tiny little box. And whatever it is that you are choosing to create in your life, whether it's money, or you're trying to create a new job or a relationship, or whatever that is, right? Or you're like having trouble with your family, got to find a way to change it, right? To be present with it and to out-create it, because everything is changeable. And if you be present in the energy of chaos and you allow yourself to be the miracle that you truly be, that which can choose and change anything, then what else is possible? And something as simple, and I say it's simple, but it's one of the most profound Access Consciousness tools. Something as simple as just asking a question can change the energy of anything. And some of my favorite, questions to use that I still use all the time is, what else is possible here? How does it get better than this? I recently went through a kind of upheaval in my life where everything that I was creating and choosing, everything just like totally changed and went poosh and went away. And there was just like this space of nothing. And I was like, oh my goodness, what is that? Okay. And I was aware, I was like, oh, this is chaos. Like, I can't define anything. I can't hold on to anything. There's nothing there that is solid. Right. And because of the tools of Access, I knew like, okay, this is cool. Like, I know that this is a really cool place to be in. And it totally freaked me out. I was like, ah! And for a while, I actually stopped asking questions. And I got to tell you, it did not create anything for me. It created me feeling depressed. I was sad. I just was like in this rut and in this loop of just crap, right? And I woke up one day and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm like not asking any questions at all about anything. Now, during this, I was still creating because I still had that sense of some of the things that I wanted to create in my life. And there was still this just like really interesting space where I just stopped using the tools and I just went into like, it felt like a standstill in my life, which was really interesting because it was a standstill and yet I was still creating. So all of those stills, can we destroy and uncreate them? Right, wrong, good, bad, POC, POD, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds. I have a question here, which I'll get to in just a second. Or maybe I'll get to it now because I lost my train of thought. There you go, chaos. Let's see. Just one second. So Irene says, can we be the miracle to see how we can create more thanks to our best gifts or capabilities? How about just, can we be the miracle? And anything that doesn't allow you to find what that is for you in your life, will you destroy and uncreate it? Right, wrong, good, bad, POC, POD, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds. And you can start with asking the question. And I did this for a long time too. Like, what is it that I'm here to create and contribute? And anything that doesn't allow me to perceive, know, be, and receive that, will you destroy and uncreate it? Right, wrong, good, bad, POC, POD, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds, which is totally a kind of a perfect little segue about what I was talking about, was that I found myself in this still, it was like a cesspool of just crap that I was creating. And I actually had to start using that question again. Like, okay, wow, I created this big, amazing, fabulous life that I was totally enjoying, that was just like super magical. And then it changed and I had to make different choices and all this stuff. And then I was like, oh, now what? And then I went into like the sadness of this life that I had created that was no more, rather than going into the question of, okay, now what? What am I here to create now? Like, what else is possible now? What contribution can I be now? You know, including everything that I had created before, right? Including everything. And then moving forward, with what else is possible now. Cool. Is there anything else there, my dear Irene, or if anyone else has any questions? Nothing yet. Okay, cool. What else? I was playing earlier this year with my amazing friend Za, and we created this program called Practical Magic, which we played with for a few months. And in one of the telecalls that Gary and Dane were doing, they said that miracles, wait, I just want to get it. I don't like to misquote them. Where is it? Where is it? It's over here. Oh, awesome. So miracles are the result of the magic that you are willing to be. So are you willing to be the magic that you truly be? And anything that doesn't allow that, can you destroy and uncreate it? Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. And this clearing statement, this sort of magic wand that I like to wave around and play with, you know, what if it was your magic wand? What questions can you ask to find out and be and create the magic and the miracle that you truly be? And anything that doesn't allow that, let's destroy and uncreate it. Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. So we talked a lot about chaos, because that's just kind of really what's up in my universe right now. And to be honest, there's a piece about order that I'm not super clear on yet. So I'm going to keep asking questions about that, because I get that in order to fit into this reality, I had to find ways to order myself. And then I had to go and find ways to order everything around me. So there's this sense of like the energy being cut off, right? I'm not 100% clear on this yet. I'm still asking questions. I'm playing with it with you right now live. So there's this sense of like the energy being cut off. But I was laying on the beach the other day and I was looking up at the sky, and maybe you would like to practice this sometime. And I was looking up at the sky, and I like to really relax my body and just kind of squint my eyes a little bit and look up at the sky. And if I relax enough and I squint my eyes and I have just the softest of sight, I can see the molecules in the sky. And I know you guys can do it too. I'm not saying or talking about anything that I don't think you can do, right? Because I never could see that before. And it was just like practice and relaxation and relaxing my eyes and just the willingness to be, perceive, and be aware of energy. So please go try it. And you don't have to be at the beach to do it. But anyway, so I was looking at the molecules in the sky, and there was this chaotic movement in them, but there was also an order to it because they were chaotically moving in order. And I was like, oh, what is that? And consciousness, again, includes everything and judges nothing. So it includes chaos and it includes order. So where is that energy of order required? I'm not sure yet, to be honest, because I'm having so much fun just being the energy of chaos and allowing myself to be that energy that I have always been. So yeah, the communion of chaos and order, what is that? And I wonder what we can play with over the next week to find out what that is. Ask a lot of questions. What is this energy of chaos and order? Where in my life can I add a little bit of chaos to create the living that I desire? Where in my life? Maybe is there a little bit of order required? What does that look like? And it's so funny because it's not ever a doing. I was talking to Gary, and he was, asking me some questions about stuff. And he asked me like, oh, well, he asked me this question. I was like, oh, and it kind of stuck me. We were talking about Puerto Rico and like the energy that's happening there, and the economy. And he gave me some tools, which it doesn't really feel light to share right now. And at the same time, I was like, what is that? How do I do that? How do I do that? Which is not really the best question in the world, I got to tell you. So I changed it to, what is that? What is that? What is it if I be that that's required for, Puerto Rico, for the expansion and the growth of Puerto Rico? What do I need to be for that? And it was as simple as just asking the question, what chaos is required? And just allowing that energy to show up. This reality can be so much about doing and what we do. And I get wrapped up in that too. I have to do this and I have to do that. And I have to do this for my business. I got to work with my team for that and do. And what if it's just as simple as asking the question and being and allowing the energy to contribute to you? And anything that doesn't allow you to have that, will you destroy and uncreate it? Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Awesome. How does it get better than that? I would love to invite you for the next week to play with acknowledging the miracles that you have created in your life, the miracle that you have been for you, for the earth, for consciousness, for your friends, for your family. That's one of the coolest, biggest tools, right? Is to be able to acknowledge that, because when you can acknowledge it and be it and receive it, you can actually have the space to create more of it. So please go forth in the next week and notice, am I being a miracle? Am I being the magic? Oh, wow. Yes, I am. Awesome. How does it get better? What else can I create now? Find at least 5 things from your past or the present to acknowledge yourself for and to have gratitude for yourself for. And in the next week, just ask, what would it create if I added a little bit of chaos here? And it's not a doing, it's a being, right? So what if I just be the energy of chaos right now? What would that create? And follow the energy. So when something is light and expansive and it expands your universe, then that is something that is true for you. And when something is heavy and a contraction, kind of like that little box that I was trying to fit myself into, then that is not true for you. So go forth into the next week and start playing with the energy of something. Start playing with the energy of everything, the energy of chaos, the energy of being the miracle. And when you ask questions, follow the energy. Is this light? Is this heavy? Is this true for me? Is this not true for me? And see what magic you can create in the next week. Let me see if there's a question that I can leave you with. What energy, space, and consciousness can me and my body be to be the magical, miraculous, chaotic being I truly be? And anything that doesn't allow that, will you destroy and uncreate it? Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. Awesome. How does it get better than that? Thank you all so much for being here on my first Consciousness is Sexy show. Go forth and be sexy, whatever that is for you, however that looks like for you. I'm so grateful that you were here, so excited and just really looking forward to what we will be creating each week here Feel free to, I have a Facebook group, Consciousness is Sexy. You're all totally invited. Please come play with me in that group, ask questions, be the magic, be the miracle, be you in this group. It's a totally open space for everyone to just be and share the miracles that they're creating in their lives. I can't wait to hear about it and play with you. And that's it. How does it get better than that? Thank you all so much. Have an amazing evening or day wherever you are in the world. And I'll see you next week. Yay!